Here I come.
You take the blue pill. The story ends. You wake up in your bed and believe whatever you want to. You take the red pill. You stay in Wonderland. And I show you how deep the rabbit hole goes.
Shroud. Wow. Here, clots collected from the shroud.
Clots, meaning
Yeah.
blood.
Blood-like particles.
So the shroud absolutely has blood on it. At minimum, has blood.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is amazing.
Tests of the shroud have shown that the blood clots came from wounds. The testing also shows that the man had blood type AB, a rare blood type found only in 3% of the population, but is more common in people of the Middle East.
Is there the possibility that somebody could have painted a picture on the shroud?
No
with blood?
way. Many scientists have demonstrated that no one can paint that. Yeah. It's not reproducible.
But to find out there's actual blood, and for Dr. Gianni to say there's no way someone could have taken blood and painted it on there, that literally struck me in my heart. That moment right there took my belief line one significant degree higher, that there's actual physical evidence. So Gianni, the Bible says clearly Jesus was wrapped in a cloth, so we know that the Bible says that. So I need to know, do you believe the shroud is authentic?
I can say that on the basis of the data we got, the shroud is not a medieval fake. The shroud is 2,000 years old.
Will be needed. The second reason is related to a March 2019 study where a replica of the Shroud of Turin was attempted. The results stated that the perfect reproduction of the Turin Shroud remains a challenge since many other characteristics of the original image have not yet been obtained with any of the processes used for reproduction to date. That basically means that even with the most sophisticated technology available today, we cannot replicate the Shroud of Turin. A similar experiment was conducted in 2012, and from that experiment, we saw the amount of watts necessary to create an image with just some of the properties. It would look something like this. That was the Dallas Cowboys Stadium. With every light on, 750 megawatts are used. Dr. Paolo Di Lazzaro, who led the 2012 study, told National Geographic that it would take several billion watts to create the image. Another thing to factor in is that 750 megawatts are being used throughout the stadium. What science is telling us is that a dead body would have to exude billions of watts to create the image on the shroud. No mere human could do that. But Jesus, the God-man, could. As he illuminated during the Transfiguration, he surely illuminated in an even greater way during his resurrection, which is recorded on the Shroud of Turin for us. Also, it would take 10,000 of these lasers to create the image on the shroud, which exceeds the maximum power released by all ultraviolet light sources available today. That statement says it all. We don't have the capability to replicate the shroud. So every Easter, when we remember the resurrection, think about the power of Jesus. Think about that literally explosive power as he rose from the dead to create this image. It's amazing. Now you might be wondering, why can't we replicate all the characteristics of the shroud?
What? There is no replica of the shroud that has ever accomplished this, with one exception. Guess who did that? Guess who did accomplish that? This guy right here, Paolo Di Lazzaro. Tried for 5 years to replicate the shroud image and concluded that it was produced by UV light, but the UV light necessary to reproduce the image exceeds the maximum power released by all UV light sources available today. The time for such a burst would be shorter than 1/40 billionth of a second, and the intensity of the UV light would have to be around several billion watts. See, he was able to produce, by firing an argon fluoride laser at a specific frequency and a specific power of UV light aimed at one of these fibrils, he was able to get this change. He was able to change single electron bond carbon atom groups to change to double electron bonds without touching the fabric of any man-made object, but using radiated energy. That is how this image was produced. But there's no escaping that during the image process, the body is levitated between the two halves of the cloth. Now, this is a much more accurate position of the body during the image process. The knees are raised, and the upper torso is leaning forward. And because of that, because there's separation, a lot of separation between the knees and the feet did not image at all. There's no image there. It's because there's too much separation. When the charged particle radiation or electromagnetic radiation emitted from this body, when it had to travel that extra distance, it slowed down by inverse square law and was not sufficient to do what? To change the single electron bond carbon atoms to double bond.
Welcome to the real world. Dream world. Built to keep us under control in order to change a human being.
No. I don't believe it. It's not possible.
I didn't say it would be easy, Neo. I just said it would be the truth.
Stop. Let me out. Let me out. I want out. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
It's gonna pop.
Breathe, Neo.
Just breathe.